once you walked away from football, uh, did you know you wanted to be an engineer, or was there kind of like a little bit of a dead period where you're like, oh, I have no clue what I want to do? Like, how did this all come to fruition here?
So whenever I graduated high school, you got, they ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want to study in college? So I was always working on cars and stuff like that. I was always watching those TV shows. They say it used to be a network back in the day called Spike TV.
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if
Yeah, yeah, man. I haven't heard
yes.
anyone say that in a long time.
Right,
Whoa.
right, right. And so on Saturday mornings, they would always show like I forget the name of the shows, but it was basically these car shows. I just love those car shows, man. And so I was like, you know what? I think I want to be a mechanical engineer. Because I like doing stuff like that, And it was, a little bit of it was me just not really understanding what a mechanical engineer was, because we don't sit around and work on cars all day. But it's more so a mechanic. But but yeah, so when I got to Gulf Coast, I told them I want to be an engineer. So they put me on the engineering track, taking all the different maths and things like that. When I got to Mississippi State, that was like, nah, we need to choose something else. You need to choose something else because, I mean, granted, it was a tough curriculum, but also it was a lot of the classes conflicted with practice. So, they wasn't having that. So I chose business, and I studied business and graduated with a business degree. And so whenever I got finished with football, it's like, okay, like you said, I did have that little dead period where it's like, what do I do with the rest of my life or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I was 26. I was like, I think I'm gonna go back to school for engineering. Something I always wanted to do, something that, I was kind of denied of in the past. But also I think part of me also, it was it was one of those things too. It's like, man, I think I'm strong enough to be an engineer. It was kind of one of those things where I feel like I'm like I was talking about when I was getting drafted. I felt like it's a lot of guys wasn't that much better than me, if at all. And when I looked at engineers, they got um, this perception of, man, they're like super smart, right? So I was like, I can be an engineer too. I could be an engineer as well. So like, I'm going back to school to be an engineer. So part of it was ego, part of it was me like trying to achieve a childhood goal, and another part of it was like, man, I need to find something that can give me a decent life, So I went off on a journey.
The trifecta. That's so cool, man. Because when I saw that LinkedIn article that you're an engineer at Lockheed Martin, and for those that don't know, Lockheed Martin is a global security and aerospace company. I used to work across the street from a Lockheed Martin, so my brain was just like, "Oh my god, that is the coolest thing." I got to talk to Vic to just see how this all kind of came to be.
Yeah, and working for Lockheed Martin as an engineer, that's like going to the NFL again.
Yeah, man.
For those that don't know, it's definitely like one of those jobs that you definitely aspire to be. Lockheed can basically choose who they want to. Like they can choose the best of the best, just because and it's hard to get in Lockheed. When I was getting onboarded, there was this woman that said somebody had applied to Lockheed 19 times before they even got an interview. I was like, damn, like I got in the first first time I applied, first interview, man, got a job offer. So I'm definitely grateful for that. So
I love it. You made it to the NFL twice. I mean, yeah, Lockheed Martin. That's the cream always rises to the top.
I guess so, man. I guess so. Like I said, a lot of people don't know who Lockheed Martin is, but in the engineering world, like I said, it's definitely one of those type jobs where you're like, okay, I've made it.
How have you been able to channel all of those years playing football, playing in college, playing in the NFL, over to being an engineer over at Lockheed Martin?
Well, first I had to get through the curriculum, because I don't want to skim over that, because it was definitely tough. Like I said, it probably was good that I didn't major in it the first time I went to college. So like all those things that I was just talking about earlier, like perseverance, taking care of the small things, being organized, being on time, really a lot of the small things. It's like that definitely helps put you in position to be the best you can be, to perform the best that you can perform, because it got rough at times, man. It's like, so also I want to say this, like a lot of times in football, especially like in the strength and conditioning portion of it, it's like, can you suffer in silence and keep going? And it's like, because in football, it's they big on mental toughness. So they push you as much as possible, especially at the collegiate level. They push you as much as possible to try to get you to your breaking point. And I always felt like that's what engineering school was like. It's like, can you suffer in silence? It's like, yes, you tired. Yes, you don't. It's no way possible that you can finish this and do good, but can you keep going? And for me, I'm like, I done did this already. It's like, as long as I know that I'm moving forward, that's all I need to know. And eventually, I struggled enough, suffered enough in silence, and eventually walked across the stage. And like I said, but at work, work, it's not hard. It's not hard at all. So it's nothing like it was going to school.
It's almost like in some ways your NFL career was preparing you for this next chapter, especially with the keep going. Just to kind of stick on that aspect, and this actually is the perfect transition. A family friend of mine who's helped me through some difficult times in my life, he always said, keep going. And he still says it to this day. And the craziest thing in the world, Vic, is that mantra, keep going, has been the main catalyst for me being able to push through my life, through some difficult times. How important, even though it's very simple, is it to just keep going?
It's very important. Life goes on. Things are going to happen. I always say life is a series of problems to solve. You know what I'm saying? So after you solve one problem, you got a next one. You got another one coming. But like I said, you just got to keep going. If you stop and start feeling sorry for yourself, it's like that's a recipe for disaster. It's like I feel like when you start feeling sorry for yourself, you develop bad habits, you develop this aura of like negativity, and people don't want to be around stuff like that. I know I don't either anyway. It's like I want to be around positive people. Yeah, everybody gonna struggle with something. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their thing. But like you said, keep going. Like what type of attitude do you have when you're going through this thing? If you're a positive person, like, man, you're gonna be around more positive people and it's gonna help you out. You know what I'm saying? It's a mindset game, man. So if you can have the right mindset, know your times of adversity, it makes it that much more easier. I mean, obviously, I didn't know these things before. I will be honest. I was definitely negative at times when I was going through my injuries. But now that I'm on the other side of all this stuff, I understand now. It's like, what type of attitude do you have, and what are you learning in the process?
Do you think resilience is derived through life experiences, or is it some innate ability that some of us have and some of us don't have?
That's honestly, I've been asking my same thing, man. I'm not sure, because I think resiliency is a function of confidence as well. If you're a confident person and confident in your abilities, when you face stuff, it's like, okay, I know I'm gonna get through this. You know what I'm saying? And because you think like that, you can push through it. But I feel like some people, like I was telling somebody this other day as well, I feel like some people never struggled for anything and succeeded at it, because they never found anything to struggle for. So it's like they don't understand resilience and perseverance and stuff like that, because they just always take what they were given. You know what I'm saying? So you're not able to channel in your your inner ego, you know what I'm saying, that like kind of push yourself through those tough situations. It's just like you just kind of existing. I don't know how to explain it. I don't think I really thought through what I'm trying to say right now, but I, like I said, I don't know. That's a good question, man. I do feel like some people, I would say this. I think if sports can teach it, or any type of, I shouldn't even say sports, any type of organized extracurricular activity, I feel like can teach resiliency, or it can bring it out of you. But I don't know if people are born with it, man. It's like that's a good question.
I know that's kind of an esoteric question, but just, from our conversations, like it was just one of those things where I'm always curious, because I don't think there is a wrong answer necessarily, but it's something I kick around in my head like all the time. Like, was I able to get through certain obstacles in my life because of my hockey career, and there was adversity there, and then that was built up, from the age of like 6 to teenage, I don't know. And again, like I wish there was like some way we can measure it, or maybe we could text each other later and if we have the answer, but
like I said earlier, I do think confidence has something to do with it as well. Because like I said, if you're a confident person, and if you're confident in your abilities to overcome anything, it's like, okay, I know I can get through this. And you, because you feel that way about yourself, you're gonna be resilient. You're gonna persevere. You're gonna have all these things that gets you through that issue.
Yeah, some people say that there's like this like inner whisper, so to speak, or like inner voice that's just, which I guess kind of piggybacks off that confidence, saying like, hey, like if you lose a loved one, of course you're extremely sad and your whole world is shattered. But at least for me, there was always like an inner voice during that time in my life. It was like, you got this. And I think that kind of hits perfectly on the confidence aspect that you just talked about. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy world. All right, two more questions, and I'll let you go, man. Um, your Twitter bio says just a guy, and your Instagram bio says just a guy living life. I know you're laughing, dude, but I found both of those to be extremely humanizing because most of the times in people's like bios on social media, it's like 8-time Emmy winner, 9-time Pro Bowler. It's always these accolades that are very surface level, and it's the outer shell of who we are. Yours, I loved because like I'm just a guy living life. Um, what are your thoughts on that, or was there any intentional meaning behind that?
Definitely, you just hit it on the head, man. It's like you have a lot of people out here, like, talking themselves up, saying, "Oh, I do this, I do that." You know what I'm saying? Which is true, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's not who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's just what you did with your life. And, they're accolades. I got a lot of accolades, but I don't like wear them on my shoulder because that's not where my value as a person comes from. You know, it's like I'm a person having a human experience, and like I said, I just want to humanize myself. I never want to make anybody feel like I'm bigger than life because, like, yeah, I've done some things with my life that a lot of people, would aspire to do or wish they could do. But at the end of the day, I'm just like you. Like I wake up, I have issues, I struggle with things, you know what I'm saying? But I push through it. I have a human experience as well, you know what I'm saying? So if I can do it, you can do it as well.
That's such a powerful message, especially not just for athletes. I mean, it's not just athlete centric, but I think sometimes, I think that's why I get so annoyed when during the NFL draft, when you have the evaluators, the analysts, evaluating, y'all, because it's freaking dehumanizing, man. It's like, well, like it's all about like, is he tall? Is he short? What's the hand size? What's his like vertical? And I think it's such a, and again, like it's such a turn off to me just as merely a viewer. I can only imagine what it's like to be, that man or woman in that situation, just being evaluated up the wazoo when it's like, yo, I'm just a regular human being too, and I have problems. I put my pants on with, the same way you do. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to their defense, not really a defense, but it's like, okay, if I'm gonna invest millions of dollars into this person, like, okay, I wanna know what I'm getting myself into. But at the end of the day, the film's for itself, man. You don't need to take all these weird measurements and things like that. It's like, why do you care what my hand size is? You saw my film, I can catch the ball. Like, okay, weight, that's one thing. Like, you don't want anybody coming in super heavy overweight, but like hand size, all these weird measurables, like how long is my arm or whatever, man. It's like, look, go pull the film up. Do I produce or don't I? Like, that's all you need to know.
That's it, man. Vic, do you miss football?
Man, a lot of people always ask me this question. I definitely miss parts of it. When I see like my teammates doing good, big things, I'm like, man, part of me wish I was there, like able to like still fight and gather these accolades. Like Dak Prescott, he just won the Walter Payton Man of the Year. I was at Mississippi State with him. Fletcher Cox and Darius Slay, they're getting ready to play in the Super Bowl for the Eagles. So it's like these are guys, like I said, I still next to, and I still me, Darius and Fletch and a couple other guys. We're still in the group message, so these are still guys I interact with. And it's like I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't miss like being able to, I guess I'm gonna tell you what I do miss. I do miss football. I miss being a expert at my craft, and I don't really know how to explain that. It's like I found a sense of like fulfillment from, like I say, being the best of the best, and I think that kind of goes back to my ego. but it's like it's a great feeling when like people look at you as an expert. All the years of your hard work and your grinding, like you got this wealth of knowledge in this one area, and now you're being compensated, being compensated for it as well. But I mean, aside from the money, like I said, I definitely miss being an expert at my craft.
Well, dude, you're on the way of being an expert as an engineer. So I look forward to seeing and hearing about all the awesome things you do, man. That's so cool. And Vick Ballard, an engineer at Lockheed Martin.
I got a nice ring to it, man. I'm definitely I was surprised they offered me, but at the end of the day, if they offer me, I deserve to be there. So I'm running with it.